Let's face it, nutrition can be really confusing, especially when you're trying to make more healthy choices. So if you've ever found yourself at a loss for finding healthy snacks, this is the video for you. Hello gorgeous girl, welcome back to my channel, and I have been dying to make this video for you because unfortunately it is like the wild west out here on YouTube. And what I mean is that, anyone can create a YouTube video, right? And you don't have to have any kind of credentials or education in order to do so. And unfortunately, I see so many people creating content and giving advice where it's really bad advice. Now, I know that most people are extremely well-meaning and they just are trying to be generous to their communities, but I just want to tell you that I have been a certified personal trainer and Pilates instructor for over 25 years. I'm also a certified health coach, and I've been in the fitness and wellness industry for half of my life, more than half of my life. I'm turning 50 this year, and I've been a trainer for over 25 years. That being said, I'm your girl and I got you. And you'll definitely want to make sure that you stay to the end of this video because I am for sure dropping some knowledge on you on some of these snacks that you definitely thought were healthy, but they're not. And of course, I'm going to tell you what to get instead. First and foremost, we always see those protein bars, those nutrition bars in the grocery store, and they're saying like, they're vegan, they're plant-based, they're 25 grams of sugar, they're whatever, I don't know. And it's really confusing. And of course, that's what I like to call sexy marketing, which unfortunately, especially here in the US, we do so much with food. And it's no wonder that you're confused as a woman trying to make best choices. Some of the most popular brands on the market are something that I would not eat. I wouldn't touch them with a 10-foot pole. Some of these so-called nutrition bars have over 20 grams of sugar. So you're better off eating a donut or even a candy bar than eating these bars. Some of the worst offenders are Cliff bars, Lara bars, RX bars, and these are things that of course they market to us like, oh, they're so healthy, but you have to read your labels. Now, no one wants to be eating a glorified candy bar in lieu of a protein bar, right? We can all agree on that. So what should you be eating instead? If you're going to be eating a nutrition bar, what I always suggest is that you find one that has 5 grams of sugar or less. One of my favorite brands to use is Aloha bars. I feel like they have the best flavors. They're absolutely delicious and they don't use creepy ingredients. So do your research, avoid those sugar bombs, and get lower sugar, higher protein bars that are actually going to support you in your goals and your overall health. Now, this one is something that I used to do myself, and nutrition really, things are always changing. We're always finding more research. So don't beat yourself up if you've been doing some of these things, because I know I can actually laugh about some of these things. And one thing that so many people think is just so healthy for us is green juice. In fact, at one point I had a video on YouTube which was all about me making green juice in my kitchen back in New York, way back in the day, probably in 2011. But here's the issue with green juice, and really juice of any kind. But green juice, we always think it's green, it's vegetables, it's healthy. Well, because of juicing, it strips away the natural fiber. So then it just becomes a sugar bomb in your body. So what juice should you be drinking instead? No juice. We want to keep the fiber intact so that the natural sugars are absorbed more slowly into your bloodstream. So that's why if you're going to drink something, as a meal, I always recommend that you have a smoothie in lieu of a juice. And that's because, quite simply, the fiber is intact. When the fiber is omitted, this can cause an unwanted spike in your blood sugars, and as a result, you can crash. So what's an even better option than a juice? I would suggest eating whole fruits or whole vegetables, and like I mentioned before, a smoothie. Now, I know we've already talked a lot about sugar, and it's really something that you want to be a detective and keep your eyes on the lookout for. Now, did you know that if you are increasing your sugar content in your food, that can also increase the plaque buildup on your teeth? But did you know that when you have excess plaque on your teeth, that can also make your teeth appear less white? Now, for someone like me, way over 40, the last thing that I want is old, dull, yellow-looking teeth, because that really, quite honestly, ages you. So that's why, once again, I'm super happy to have partnered with Lumino. Lumino is my favorite brand of toothpaste, whitening strips, and more because they are certified non-toxic. So instead of using peroxide to whiten your teeth, they actually use oils like coconut oil, lemon oil, really more natural substances so that you are not getting that teeth sensitivity. You know, one thing that I noticed, especially when I was in my earlier 40s, was that my teeth started kind of overnight getting more sensitive. And I love that with Lumino, I can create a bright white smile that a lot of you often think are actually veneers, but they're not. These are my real teeth. And I love that my teeth appear brighter and whiter, and that I'm really supporting my body, and I'm not increasing the sensitivity in my teeth like some of those other whitening strips can do. Every single day I brush my teeth with my Lumino toothpaste, and I absolutely love it. I love that it makes my teeth nice and white and bright and really feeling clean and refreshed, but they also have a great mouthwash. So if you like having that like extra bit of protection for not only your breath but also the health of your teeth, and you want to do it in a non-toxic way, definitely check out Lumino. And one of my favorite things about Lumino is that you can get it directly on Amazon, so you don't have to go out to the store and waste your time. So definitely check out Lumino. I'll leave the link below in the description. If you don't know where the description box is, underneath my head somewhere, there's the title of today's video. You'll see the word more. You tap on it, and then you'll tap on it again, and you'll see the entire description box there for you. Now again, I told you some of these snacks I actually used to use myself. A few years ago, I was really into oat milk, and I thought, oh, oat milk, you know, this is really, it's made from oats, and like this is gonna be super healthy for me. Well, I was wrong. And the reason why oat milk is not great for you is research really shows that it can actually cause a spike in your blood sugar levels. Unfortunately, most brands out there also are very, very high in additional sugar, but they also contain additives, and some can even trigger inflammation and really just disturb your metabolism. So once I saw that research, I just thought, you know what, like there's a better option out there. And so what should you be using instead of oat milk? Any kind of unsweetened nut milk, but buyer beware. Here's what I mean. Most nut milks, especially here in the good old USA, we add all kinds of things that are not needed. So look at your labels. You don't need gums, you don't need stabilizers, and you definitely do not want sugar added. Your ingredients for really high quality nut milk should be water and the nuts and maybe some salt, and that's it. Now this one I have such a funny story. So, you know, one of my closest friends, she knows that I'm a health coach, and sometimes she'll send me a text and be like, is blah, blah, blah healthy? And so she was eating acai bowls from a place here in Miami, and she was having them literally every single day. And she asked me, are they healthy? And I said, yeah, as long as you make sure that the acai is unsweetened, right? We all think, oh, that's healthy, right? But did you know that most acai bowls are between 21 and even 90 grams of sugar if you're including the toppings? That's a ton of sugar. And so any kind of benefit from the fruit or the fiber that you would be getting from the acai, it is completely overwhelmed by all that excess sugar. So the funny thing about this story that I was telling you, my friend, the restaurant that she was getting these acai bowls from, they finally disclosed their information, and there was something like 96 grams of sugar in them and like a bajillion calories. And she was like, what the heck? But you know, we live, we learn, we can always do better. So can you never have an acai bowl? Of course you can, but what I would suggest is buying the acai yourself so that you can be sure that it is only acai, it is just frozen fruit, and there's no additional sugar added. Now we all think, okay, I'm wanting to decrease my waistline, I want to put more of a priority on my health, my gut health. Okay, great, I'm going to start eating yogurt every day for breakfast. Is that a healthy choice? Probably not. And here's why. Most traditional yogurts are, if they're fruit sweetened, you're gonna have anywhere between 15, 20, even 25 grams of sugar in them. And that's because of the additional sugar from the fruit or the jam or whatever they're using. So am I saying yogurt in and of itself is unhealthy? That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I do suggest that you get instead of any pre-flavored or pre-sweetened yogurt is that you get yogurt that is completely plain, no flavors at all. And a little bonus tip for you, if you're a woman like me that's in menopause, or even if you're not, girly, and you are in perimenopause, you want to be incorporating more protein in your diet. So you can get an extra 10 to even 12 grams of protein by just eating Greek yogurt instead of regular yogurt. Now, I personally vacillate between if I do full fat, non-fat, or like, I don't know, whatever's in between for my Greek yogurt. You do what works best for you according to your goals. But what I love about Greek yogurt is that it has a creamier texture, so you can use it as like a breakfast option. I do that often if I'm on the go, and I'll just add some berries and some unsweetened fruit jam and maybe add some nuts on top. But I'm also super confident knowing that I made the choices. I know what the ingredients are in it, and it's not going to become a big sugar bomb. So if you want to eat yogurt, go Greek and make any kind of parfait your own. Let's talk about protein. So many of us are saying, oh, I want to increase my protein, so I'm going to get nut butter. I'm going to, drizzle a little bit of nut butter onto my yogurt or onto my toast or whatever. So it doesn't matter what kind of nut it is. Most traditional nut butters or peanut butters, they all are going to have excess sugar added, and even worse, really low quality oils added. For example, Peter Pan creamy peanut butter and honey spread contains 7 grams of added sugar. And as a woman in menopause, we do not need extra sugar, not only for our waistline, but also for our cognitive health. High levels of added sugar can affect your health negatively by raising your risk of disease for multiple organs, including your kidneys, liver, pancreas, and colon. And it might even raise the likelihood of obesity or high blood pressure. So what can you do instead? You want to get nut butter, whether it's peanut, almond, sunflower, whatever it is, but the ingredients should just be the nut, maybe salt, and that's it. You don't want palm oils, vegetable oils, any kind of stabilizers, and you definitely do not want any added sugar. So there are really big mass marketed brands out there. You don't have to go to some kind of weird store to get this. You can just get the natural one. Sometimes there's a little bit of oil on top, and that's natural. That is a naturally occurring thing, and you just stir it up and you're good to go. Personally, my favorite of late is the sunflower butter, but again, you've got to read your labels. Most of them, while they're delicious, they have added sugar. So just look for ones that have no added sugar. So also, if you're making it for your kids, you can also be confident if you're doing the sunflower butter that is a nut-free option for your little one. This one just brings me right back to the 80s and my dad, good old John Campoli. And just being from an Italian-American household, my father really instilled in me, do not ever buy bottled salad dressings. I just came back from a trip from Italy, and I go to Italy every single summer, and one of the things that I always love is that bottled salad dressing just doesn't exist. Like, why? Ma perché? Store-bought salad dressings often contain high levels of sodium, added sugar, less high-quality oils, and additives like MSG and even phosphoric acid. And none of those ingredients are doing your body any favors. So what do you do instead? It's so simple. Just make your own. So in my house, I have a section of vinegars. I have white vinegar, which randomly is my favorite vinegar. I love white vinegar. I like a lot of acid. It just tastes good. I'm going on a tangent, but that's my favorite vinegar. But my husband also really likes red wine vinegar or balsamic vinegar. And I usually have all of those options just to make my salads a little bit different. And then I dress it with a little bit of olive oil. Hot tip for you on your salads, vinegar first, mix it up. It kind of helps to soften the vegetables, break them down a little bit. Then add your olive oil after the vinegar has been on there, and then I do salt, seasonings, whatever you want after that. Let's talk about kid snacks next. One of my friends brought a snack for my daughter. She was on a play date, and it was like these fig bars, and I was like, oh, it's figs, it's natural. I've seen those at Whole Foods. So I thought, oh, this will be a great option. And of course, being the mom that I am, I read the label, and there were over 20 grams of sugar in these seemingly healthy fig bars. The Nature's Bakery raspberry fig bars contain artificial trans fats and are actually not certified organic. They also contain 33% of sugar by weight with 5 teaspoons of added and natural sugar per serving. I mean, does that blow your mind or what? So avoid those. We can do better. Read your labels. Now, I don't want my daughter to grow up feeling like she can't eat certain things. And in fact, this year at school, I'm actually making her lunch every day. She changed schools and I just didn't really like the options they had. So I was like, let's give it a go making her own lunches. So she's a kid, she's 5 years old. Of course I want to give her a treat here and there. So 2 options that you can do instead. Number 1, of course, read your labels. But what you can do is either find higher quality ingredients less sugar options, because especially for our kids, we want to keep their brains clear. This is something I'm so passionate about. A kid cannot do their best job, and their job is being at school, being able to think and play and have energy and not be having these constant crashes and, spikes in their blood sugar. So we want to make sure that they are not having tons and tons of sugar. It's hard. It's not an easy thing. So look for cookies or little treats or things like that that have lower sugar, or even better, if you've got the time, make your own. So you always know that it's a high quality ingredient. I am often known kind of, 9 o'clock, 9:30 at night to be like baking a little something to give her a little treat, and it'll be a healthier option, but she doesn't need to know. And sometimes, of course, just to save time, I'll buy a higher quality, less sugar treat for her so that she has a treat, but she's not getting a crazy sugar spike. I mean, my daughter, even now at just 5 years old, she knows to read labels, and we have these one little candies that I buy her that are portion controlled. They're from the brand Unreal, and she doesn't even call them by their name. She says, "Can I have the 3 grams of sugar?" You got to start them young. We're almost at the end. I've got a couple more points for you, but I just wanted to thank you so much for being here. And if you haven't already, please do consider subscribing. If this video is helpful for you, it really does help to support my channel. And really check, because I have so many people that say, "I didn't even know I wasn't subscribed," and they watch my videos every single week. Please join our community. It's totally free to do so. Give this video a thumbs up and leave me a comment. I love interacting with you. All right, next thing that we think is healthy, but it's a big old lie, is dried fruit. I love dried fruit. I'm not saying that there's not nutritional value in dried fruit, right? Because it is whole fruit, and if you're getting dried fruit that doesn't have any additives or extra sugar, read your labels, because some do. But it is a really highly concentrated form of natural sugar. So while I also love dried fruit as well, I have to be really mindful of how much I keep in my home so that I'm not overdoing it. And that's because as a menopausal woman, I know that if I'm having extra sugar and really increasing my sugar content, not only will it affect my moods, it'll affect my sleep, it might make me gain weight, and it just makes me not feel like the optimal version of myself. So what do I do instead? Buy whole fresh fruit. I love fruit. I've talked about this a lot on my channel. I mean, I eat fruit every single day. It is a staple in our house that we always have fresh fruit. I try to buy what's in season, and I always try to buy organic, highest quality, but I love fruit. And so, just making sure that I'm having fresh fruit that has its fiber intact. It's going to just by nature give you less sugar than dried fruit would. Because think about it, if you're eating dried apples, you're probably eating like the equivalent of, I don't know, like 4 apples or something. Whereas you're likely not going to eat more than just 1 apple, maybe apple and a half. And my last and probably the most important tip is to not stress out. Unfortunately, with this age of information and we have access to so much stuff out there, some women can actually go into a form of orthorexia, which is basically, in layman's term, it's like you need your nutrition, your diet, your food eating plan to be absolutely perfect, and that in and of itself is disordered eating. Now, I'm someone who used to be a chronic dieter. I used to count every calorie. I used to think that if I just eat less, I'll be happier, skinnier, all those things. And it was a really scary time in my life, and that was 20 years ago. And I'm just so happy that now at this point in my life, I have a beautiful relationship with food. I eat all the things, but I really do try to make sure that I'm aware of what I'm putting into my body, that especially at home, I'm getting the best quality ingredients so that there's room when I'm in a restaurant. I don't worry about is this organic, is this added sugar? I eat dessert, I eat pizza, I'll enjoy pasta, but I do it within reason. Let me know if you would like me to make a whole video about how I navigate restaurants eating healthy, especially as a menopausal woman. So leave me a comment down below. I would love to hear that from you. And that's what I've got for you today. We've got this. We want to show up optimal. So if you want to keep hanging with me here on YouTube, check out this video next. I'll see you there.